السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد، فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. أما بعد. My brothers and sisters, today, the 17th of July 2022, which is of course the month of Dhul Hijjah 1443, after the hijrah of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it gives me pleasure to be again here with my brothers at Masjid as-Sunnah an-Nabawiyyah, a masjid that is upon the Sunnah of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam here in the city of Lahore in Pakistan. So this is the second part of the lecture concerning the statement of Imam Malik ibn Anas rahimahullah ta'ala, that has been collected by Khatib al-Baghdadi in al-Tarikh, al-Harawi in Dhamm al-Kalam, also by Ibn Asakir in his Tarikh Dimishq, and others. Likewise, it has been cited by Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala in Majmu' al-Fatawa, that beautiful and tremendous statement of Malik ibn Anas, Imam Darul Hijrah, died in the year 179 after the hijrah of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that he said, as-Sunnatu Safinatu Nuh, that the Sunnah, it is the Safina of Nuh alayhi salam. Man rakibaha naja, wa man takhallafa anha ghariq. That the Sunnah is like the Safina, like the boat or the Ark of Noah. Whomsoever embarks upon it is saved, and whomsoever withholds and refuses, or is kept back, or he chooses to not embark upon it, then he is drowned. And the Sunnah is like that, meaning the Sunnah of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is like that. Whomsoever embraces the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he is saved. My brothers and sisters, Allah will save him, Allah will protect him. Why? Because he has held on to that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded him to hold on to. And we have mentioned this previously in the statement of Imam al-Barbahari, who said the same when he said what he said at the beginning of his Sharh al-Sunnah of this great Imam al-Barbahari rahimahullah ta'ala, in which he said, اعلموا أن الإسلام هو السنة والسنة هي الإسلام ولا يقوم أحدهما إلا بالآخر. The Imam al-Barbahari, he said, have knowledge, all of you should know, اعلموا, that Islam, it is the Sunnah, and the Sunnah, it is Islam, and one of them cannot be established except with the other. And this is something, my brothers and sisters, that we need to be aware of. You cannot be upon true Islam unless you hold fast to the Sunnah of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in all of the things that we disputed, in all of the conversations that we have. In every affair we return back to the Kitab and the Sunnah. Just as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu ati'u Allah wa ati'u Rasul. O you who believe, obey Allah and obey the Rasul. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded with this. Later on in the ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us that if we differ, and the Muslims they differ, if we differ in any affair between ourselves, then what do we do? فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ إِن كُنتُمْ تُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. And if you differ in any affair between yourselves, then return it back to Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. If you truly believe in Allah and the last day. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say go and take it back to your hizb, go and take it to your jama'ah, go and take it to the hizb al-siyasi, the political party. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not say go and take it back to fulan and fulan. Allah is commanding the companions of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ, فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ, meaning you companions, if you Sahaba differ in any affair between yourselves, then return it back to Allah and His Messenger. If you believe in Allah and the last day. And this happened in the time of Abdullah ibn Abbas. After the death of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, some of the people they differed with regard to the Hajj. Should it be Hajj at-Tamattu' or should it be another type of Hajj? So he gave the ruling of Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma. He said to the people, the Hajj that is the best Hajj that Allah commanded us with, rather Allah commanded the Sahaba to come out of Ihram unless they have brought a sacrificial animal. Unless you brought an animal to Hajj, otherwise come out of Ihram after making the Umrah. So the companions had made Umrah. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam had brought a riding beast with him. So he said, if you have brought a riding beast, then stay in Umrah, stay in Ihram. If you did not bring a riding beast, change your intention and come out of Ihram and go into Ihram again on the day of Tarwiyah, 8th of Dhul Hijjah. So when he came to the time of Abdullah ibn Abbas many years later, they asked him, which is the Hajj? He said the Hajj is Hajj Tamattu'. Why? Because the Prophet ﷺ commanded them to come out of Ihram unless you brought a riding beast with you, a sacrificial animal with you. So you know what they said to Ibn Abbas? They said, but Abu Bakr and Umar, they are not saying what you said. They're talking to whom? Abdullah ibn Abbas. He said, Allahu Akbar. I say to you what Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, and you say to me, قال Abu Bakr wa قال Umar. He said, I fear that rocks will fall down from the sky upon my head, upon your heads. That I say to you, قال Rasulullah, and you say to me, قال Abu Bakr wa قال Umar. I say to you, Allah's Messenger said, and you say to me, Abu Bakr ne kaha, Umar ne kaha. Meaning what? Even if there is ikhtilaf between the Sahaba, ikhtilaf between Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Ibn Abbas and Ibn Umar, and it is possible for there to be ikhtilaf even amongst the Sahaba. Sometimes the Sahaba would differ. So when they differed, look at the statement of this great Imam amongst the Sahaba, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma. He said this is the Hajj. Why? Because this is the Hajj of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wassalam. When they said to him, but Abu Bakr, but Umar, he said, Allahu Akbar. I'm telling you, qala Rasulullah, and you're telling me Abu Bakr and Umar said. So if this is the case between the Sahaba, min bab awla, that centuries later, that when I differ with you, and this one differs with that one, that we do not say my Shaykh said and your Shaykh said. We do not say my party said and your party said, my Jama'ah said and your Jama'ah said. We say, فَإِن تَنَازَعْتُمْ فِي شَيْءٍ فَرُدُّوهُ إِلَى اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ إِن كُنتُمْ تُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. If we differ in any affair between ourselves, then we take it back to Allah and His Messenger, if you believe in Allah and the last day. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, this is not the only narration, by the way. There's another narration collected by Ibn Majah, which is authentic, as Shaykh Al-Albani rahimahullah ta'ala said, the great Imam and Muhaddith of this era, Al-Mujaddid, Shaykh Al-Albani rahimahullah ta'ala. The narration is in the Muqaddimah, or in the first book, Kitab as-Sunnah of Ibn Majah. And the riwayah is Sahihah. That one of the companions, Allahu A'lam, Samura Ibn Jundam, if I'm not mistaken, but it could be someone else. He was in Sham making jihad. Who was the leader? Muawiyah bin Abi Sufyan, radiyallahu anhu, or radiyallahu anhuma. So after the battle, he saw that the people were exchanging silver for silver, fidda for fidda. And he saw that some of them were giving dirham for pieces of silver. So they had darahim, they had dirhams out of silver, and they were exchanging them for different amounts of silver in terms of just metal. He said that this is riba. This is riba. Because of the hadith of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, that when you exchange gold for gold, silver for silver, it is equal for equal, hand to hand. Meaning there and then, immediately. And it must be exact amount for exact amount. Not like what you are doing. You're giving a dirham and you're just taking silver and you don't know what you're taking. He said, this is riba. This is interest. Muawiyah radiallahu anhu, he said, I do not see that this is riba. In my view, this is not riba. Riba is only if there is delay. He said, by Allah, I say to you what Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, and you speak to me with your ra'i, you speak to me with your opinion, wallahi, I will not live in a land where you are in charge. And he went to Medina. When he reached Medina, he stayed there for a while. Umar radiallahu anhu was the Amir al-Mu'mineen. He heard that he's come back to Medina. He said, what are you doing in Medina? He said, this is what happened in Sham. He said, how deprived is a land where Samura is not present. He wrote a letter to Muawiyah. And he said, go with the letter and go back to Sham. He said, okay. So he took the letter, went back to Sham. He gave the letter to Muawiyah, radiallahu anhu. In the letter, Umar ibn Khattab said, what Samura, the shak is from me about the Rawi, by the way. He said, what Samura has said is the haqq. You have no authority over him. And if he speaks, then his speech is to be taken with the hadith of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The point being what? The point being that 1400 years later, when we differ between ourselves, what do the people say? Mera sheikh keh raha hai, meri jamaat ye keh rahi hai. This is my opinion, ye meri rai hai. Maaf karna, ye meri rai hai. What do you mean maaf karna, ye teri rai hai? You have a rai that is different to the rai of Rasulullah, the wahi that came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. No one's opinion is given precedence over that which Allah has said in the Quran. What Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has said and what the Sahaba they understood. Even when the Sahaba they differed, they would not tolerate it. They would say, what is the hadith of Rasulullah? You heard the narration of Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhuma, and you heard the narration from the Sunan of Ibn Majah. When the Muslims they differ, the salvation and the success in your lives is to go to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ and to the madhab of the Salaf. Just as Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah said, لا عيب على من أظهر مذهب السلف. There is no criticism upon the one who makes manifest the madhab of the Salaf. Who said that? Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah. What year did he die? 728 after the Hijrah. 800 years ago. He said it in Majmu' al-Fatawa volume 4. لا عيب على من أظهر مذهب السلف. No عيب, no criticism upon the one who makes manifest the madhab of the Salaf. And then he has intisab to that, meaning that he connects himself to the madhab of the Salaf. And he affiliates himself to the madhab of the Salaf. Rather, that is to be accepted from him bil-ittifaq, by consensus, without any differing. The one who says, I am Salafi and I follow the madhab of the Salaf, by ijma', Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah said over 800 years ago that this is to be accepted from him bil-ittifaq. For indeed the madhab of the Salaf is nothing except for the haqq, is nothing except the truth. What's the madhab of the Salaf? Sahaba. What Rasulullah taught the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, what the Sahaba understood from Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what the Tabi'een took from the Sahaba radiallahu anhum, what the generation after that took from that generation, and that was the A'immatul Islam, the A'immatul Huda. Malik, Shafi, Sufyan, Az-Zuhri, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Sufyan bin Uyayna, Abdurrahman ibn Mahdi, Ali al-Madini, Yahya bin Ma'in, Abu Zur'a al-Razi, Abu Hatim al-Razi, Muhammad bin Ismail al-Bukhari, Imam Muslim, Ibn Majah, Abu Dawood. These are the A'immatul Salaf. These are the A'immatul Hadith. This is our madhab. That is the madhabul haqq. That is the madhab of Salafiyah. That is the path of najah. That is the path of success and guidance. This is what differentiates in every single era for 14 centuries Ahlul Haqq from Ahlul Batil. I mentioned the other day when I was here on Friday, if I remember, I said if you followed a different group every day in Pakistan alone, every day for 1 year, after a year, 365 days, you still would not have exhausted the number of groups. You would have to take a different group for about 20 years before you exhaust the firaq just in Pakistan. The Jama'at, the Ahzab, the Jama'at, the groups, all of those organizations, Jam'iyyat, they would not expire. You would die before you follow a different madhab every day. The Turuq al-Sufiyya, just the different turuq, the different parts of Sufism. Naqshbandiyya, Sahawardiya, Qadiriyya, Brelwiyya. How many groups will there be? Chishtiya. You are not Tijaniyya. How many groups will you follow? Because the real issue is here. Every one of them cannot be right. All the rivers do not go to the same ocean. That's why Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu anhu, he said, خَطَّى لَنَا رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ خَطَّى. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud said, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam made for us a line. Where? In the sand. He drew a line in the sand. ثُمَّ قَالَ هَذَا سَبِيلُ اللَّهِ. After drawing the line, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, what did he say? This is Allah's path. هذا سبيل الله. Then ثم خطى خطوطا عن يمينه وعن شماله. Then he drew lines to the right and left of that line. And he said, هذه سبل متفرقة. These are paths that divert you, separate you. How many paths of Allah? How many? Bole. Ek. Hada sabilullah. When he drew the other lines, what did he say? Hadihi subulun mutafarriqa. These are subul mutafarriqa. Then he said, ala kulli sabilin shaytan. At the head of each one of these paths is a shaytan. The sirat al-mustaqim, ek. Hada sabilullah. The subul, all of those other paths, beast, these, so, hazar, all of them are mutafarriqa, different. Ala kulli sabil, shaytan. All of these other paths, at the head of them is the shaytan. Yad'u ilay. Calling to, wo bula raha hai, shaytan. मेरे सबील पर आप आ जाएं. सुबुल मुतफर्रिका. Shaitan bula raha hai. Except for one path. That is the path of Allah. Hada sabilullah. So how many sirats are there that take you to Allah? 1 or 20? 8. One path. Then he recited from the book of Allah. وَهَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوهُ وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا السُّبُلَ فَتَفَرَّقَ بِكُمْ عَنْ سَبِيلِهِ. He recited the statement of Allah Jalla wa Ala, where Allah said, هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا. This is my straight path. Who is saying that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Kalam Allah. This is the Quran. Allah is speaking. غير مخلوق. The speech of Allah is not created. Why? Because the kalam of Allah is a sifa min sifatillah. The speech of Allah is a sifa, is an attribute from the attributes of Allah. The attributes of Allah are not created. The Quran is kalamullah. Kalamullah is not created. This is the speech of Allah. وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا. Allah is saying that Jalla wa Ala. From above the 7 heavens. فَوْقَ عَرْشِهِ بَارٍ مِّنْ خَلْقِهِ. Over his arsh. Separate from his creation. And he sees everything. And he knows everything. And he has might and power over everything. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. What did he say, subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is my straight path, so follow it. وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا السُّبُلَ. And do not follow the other paths. What do they say to us? अच्छा, सिर्फ आप हक पर हैं और सभी गुमराह हैं. We say, नाम, सही, हम हक पर हैं और सभी गुमराह हैं. That's what we say. And wallahi, we say it because it is the haqq. They say, कैसे कह सकते हैं आप? सिर्फ आप हैं. We say, because we follow the Quran, Sunnah, Sahaba. Bring me anything, Quran, Sunnah, Sahaba, I am with it. वो तो तबलीगी भी कहते हैं. From my head, I will bring you 20 mistakes of tabligh. At least 10 of them in Aqidah. I could do it now, but this lecture is not for that. But I have an article, I have a book on my website, just on the errors of Jamaat al-Tabligh. And even that is mukhtasar. How many? 50 pages or something? Imam al-Tuwayjiri. How many pages in this of Imam al-Tuwayjiri kitab? Qawl al-Buligh, Rad Jamaat al-Tabligh. Maybe about 800 pages, mujallad wahid. Imam al-Tuwayjiri. Just on the errors, akhtar Jamaat al-Tabligh, in Aqidah, in manhaj, in fiqh, in madhab, in maslak. Jamaat al-Tabligh follow 4 Sufi turuq. Sahawardiya, Chishtiya, Qadiriya, Naqshbandiya. None of that has got anything to do with the Sunnah. That's just one error. I could carry on. And when they say to us, Siraf aap hai? Yes, Siraf Salafi hai. I do not say, मैं नहीं कह रहा कि मैं जनती हूँ. मैं नहीं कह सकता. Because I don't know. Allah knows. मेरे गुनाह हैं. Allah knows whether He will forgive me or whether He will punish me. I ask that Allah shows us all of His mercy and forgiveness. लेकिन जो हमारा मसलक है, हमारा मनहज है, हमारा अकीदा है, यह सभी सही है। How do we know? किताब, सुन्ना, सहाबा। वो कहते हैं जमात इस्लामी is not upon the haqq, and I could do the same as I did with Jamaat al-Tabligh. वो कहते हैं Usama bin Laden, we say Usama bin Laden is upon misguidance, dalala, misguidance, deviated, gumrah. कोई शक भी नहीं है। And nor are we afraid. कोई डर भी नहीं है। हम साफ साफ कहते हैं उसामा बिन लादेन और उसकी जमात खवारिज हैं। They are not upon सुन्ना। दाढ़ी देखकर फूल नहीं होना। Don't be deceived, इसके पास दाढ़ी है, पग लाता है। Look at his aqeedah, look at his manhaj। फिर वो कहते हैं वो जो बरेलवी है, where do I begin with the बरेलविया? कबूर पर जाते हैं, कब्र पर जाते हैं, वहां इबादत करते हैं, तवाफ करते हैं, सजदा करते हैं। रसूलुल्लाह सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम said to Ali ibn Abi Talib, he said, do not go past the grave, ya Ali, except that you level it to the ground. That's what Rasulullah said to Ali radiallahu anhu. And do not go past a statue or an image except that you wipe off the face. This is Ali radiallahu anhu. Rasulullah telling Ali radiallahu anhu. What did Ali say? I have never gone past a grave except that I've leveled it. And I've never gone past an image except that I effaced it. And what do they do at the graves? They build masajid. ये हमारी पीर का कब्र है, पीर के कब्र के ऊपर ये मस्जिद हमने बनाई है, फख्र से कहते हैं चलो आए हमारी मस्जिद, हमारा पीर का कब्र है, यही कहते हैं। That's what they say. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what did he say in Bukhari and Muslim? The most strongest hadith in the field of hadith literature is a hadith that is muttafaqun alayh, a hadith that is agreed upon between Bukhari and Muslim. The Prophet ﷺ said, may the curse of Allah be upon the Yahud and the Nasara. May the curse of Allah, la'an of Allah, upon the Jews and upon the Christians. Because when a righteous man, rajulun salih, or a Nabi of Allah used to die, they used to take the grave as a masjid. Build a masjid over the grave. Or they make sajda, because the term masjid can mean makanu sajda, a place of sajda, or a building where sajda is made. So this is what the Sufis they do. Chashti, Naqshbandi, Tijani, sabhi karte hain. Either they will build a masjid over the grave or a shrine, or they will go to the grave and they will make ibadah, just like what you do in the masjid. Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, may the curse of Allah be upon the Jews and the Christians. That's what they used to do. In another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was dying upon his deathbed. Hadith in Bukhari. And his wives were sitting around him. Salama radiallahu anha, the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, she said, I remember when we were in Abyssinia, in Habasha. And she said that we went into a kanisa, a church. She said, in the church I saw that they had statues and images on the walls of the Salihin from them. You know, of their saints and so on, in the masjid. So the Prophet ﷺ is on his deathbed. He said, may the curse of Allah be upon them. They used to do this when someone used to die from amongst them. They would build a masjid or a place of worship over the grave. Then they used to make these images. He said they are the worst of Allah's creation, Yawm al-Qiyamah. So when they ask us, aap Salafi hain? Yes, we are Salafi. Salafi kaun hota hai? The Salafi is upon the Sirat al-Mustaqim. Sirat al-Mustaqim kya hai? وَأَنَّ هَذَا صِرَاطِي مُسْتَقِيمًا فَاتَّبِعُوهُ وَلَا تَتَّبِعُوا السُّبُلَ فَتَفَرَّقَ بِكُمْ عَنْ سَبِيلِهِ. This is the Sirat al-Mustaqim, as Allah has mentioned in the Quran. This is my straight path, Allah said, and follow it, and do not follow the other deviated paths, for they will separate you away from Allah's straight path. This is the Sunnah that Imam Malik is talking about, radiyallahu anhu. You say, did Imam Malik come from himself? Because he's not a prophet, he's an Imam. Is this from himself? No. He got this from the Sunnah of Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Irbad ibn Sariya, radiyallahu anhu, a noble companion. He said one day, the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, gave us a maw'idah. He gave us an admonition that was strong and powerful, that made tears come from our eyes and our hearts began to tremble. So we said, Ya Rasulullah, you gave a maw'idah today, you gave us a strong talk. You gave us strong words, Ya Rasulullah, today. It is as if you are going to leave us, you're going to die. Give us some nasiha, Ya Rasulullah. What do you advise us with? What is your wasiyah? Give us something to hold on to, Ya Rasulullah. This is the wasiyah of Rasulullah. The admonition and the advice to the Sahaba who thought he was going to die. What did he say to them? He said, قَدْ تَرَكْتُكُمْ عَلَى الْبَيْضَاءِ. He said, I have left you upon clear proof, clear white plain. In a narration, muhajjatul bayda, a clear white plain, clear proof. Layluha kanahariha. Its night is like its day. There is no darkness in Islam. The night is like the day. This is what I've left you upon. There is no darkness. And then he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, no one strays from my path illa halik. No one deviates from this that I've left you upon. This clear proof, except that he is misguided. No one deviates except that he is destroyed. Halik. So then he said, فَمَنْ يَعِشْ مِنْكُمْ سَيَرَى اِخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا. Whomsoever lives for long will see much different. जैसे आज हो रहा है इख्तिलाफ़न कसीरा, जगह जगह में इख्तिलाफ है, फुरका। सही है कि नहीं? हो रहा। लाहौर में कितने फिरके हैं? मुझे कोई बता सकता है? नहीं बता सकते, क्योंकि आप भी नहीं जानते। You don't know. कोई भी नहीं जानता। That's just in लाहौर। फिर देखिए इस्लामाबाद, कराची, न्यू दिल्ली, Mumbai, Morocco, Egypt, Turkey, Bangladesh, हर जगह में इख्तिलाफ नहीं हो रहा। सभी कहते हैं हम हक पर हैं, लेकिन एनालाइज करने की बात है। If you analyze the situation and you look at every single sect and you say, do they follow Kitab, Sunnah, Sahaba? Daleel दें। What is your proof that you follow Quran and Sunnah? They're going to say, हम तबलीग करते हैं. Or they're going to say, हम शेख की honor और respect करते हैं. We honor and respect our शेख. ये हमारा पीर है. ये हमारे लिए तावीज़ लिखता है. हम इसको पास जाते हैं, शफा करते हैं. So they make shafa'a and wasila tawassul through the grave. ये हमारे लिए वसीलत है कब्र में. यही कहते हैं ना. We say no problem. ये सभी गुमराह है, लेकिन हमारा what is our दलील, हमारा क्या प्रूफ क्या है? We say to them, show us your books of अकीदा. दिखाएं अकीदत की जो किताबें हैं आप पढ़ते हैं, दिखाएं हमें क्या ये अकीदत की किताबें दिखाएं. Are they going to show you the books of the early Salaf? We want to see your books. बुखारी पढ़ते हैं, अकीदा तहविया पढ़ाते हैं, उसूल सुन्ना इमाम अहमद, शरह सुन्ना बरबहारी, शरह उसूल इत्तिकाद अहल सुन्नत वल जमा, इमाम अल-लकाई, ये सभी किताबें सलफ की किताबें हैं, फर्स्ट 4 centuries। एक किताब हमको दिखाए that you read a book of अकीदा from the early salaf। हदीस कहां पढ़ते हैं आप? इख्तिलाफ, when there is इख्तिलाफ, how do you go back? हम बस फज़ाइल अमाल पढ़ते हैं। So when you differ, you go to फज़ाइल अमाल। अकीदत कहां से आपने सीखी है? फज़ाइल अमाल। हक़ और बातिल कहां से सीखते हैं आप? फज़ाइल अमाल। फज़ाइल अमाल was written in the 1950s or 60s, less than 1 century ago, less than 100 years ago। हम जो किताबें पढ़ते हैं वो पढ़ाते हैं books of aqeedah from the early salaf। शरह सुन्नह इमाम al-Muzani, शरह उसूल इत्तिकाद अहल सुन्नत वल जमा अल-लकाई, अक़ीदत सलफ अस्हाब अल-हदीस इमाम अस-साबूनी, असl सुन्नह अबू हातिम व अबू ज़ुरा अर-राज़ी, उसूल सुन्नह इमाम अहमद इब्न हंबल, किताब सुन्नह अब इमाम तबरी सरीह सुन्नह। ये हमारी किताबें हैं। हद्दुल फासिल बैन अल-हक़ व बातिल, ये हमारा हद है, ये हमारी चैलेंज है, ये हमारा अकीदा है। If you want to challenge the अकीदा of the Salafi, you don't have to speak to me। मेरे साथ कोई बात करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है। हमारा अकीदा शरह सुन्नह बरबहारी, जो हमारी किताब में मैंने जिक्र किया है, those books that are mentioned, this is our अकीदा। अभी आप दिखाएं, shows your अकीदा। जमात इस्लामी तहफ़ीज़ुल कुरान मौजूदी, that's their अकीदा। He died when? 1979। हम किताबें पढ़ रहे हैं। इमाम अहमद इब्न हंबल died 1200 years ago in 241। आप क्या दिखा रहे हैं मुझे? फिर कहेंगे हम हक पर हैं। If you're upon the haq, show us the books of अकीदा। दूसरा कहेगा मोहम्मद इलियास अल-कंदाहलवी, उसकी किताबें हम पढ़ते हैं। जमात, दिस इज द फाउंडर ऑफ जमात तबलीग। तीसरा कहता है अहमद रजा बरेलवी, who died in 1870 or something, actually later 1900 and something। आप सभी जो हमको बता रहे हैं, they all died within 100 years ago। जो तीसरा कहेगा सैयद कुतुब। We're mentioning Malik ibn Anas, Muhammad bin Idris al-Shafi'i, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Fudayl ibn Iyad 187 after the Hijrah, Imam al-Shafi 204 after the Hijrah, Imam al-Bukhari 256 after the Hijrah, Imam al-Tirmidhi 279 after the Hijrah, Ibn Abi Dawud al-Sijistani 316 after the Hijrah, Imam al-Lalakai 449 after the Hijrah, Sufyan al-Thawri 161 after the Hijrah, Abdullah ibn Mubarak 181 after the Hijrah, Imam al-Zuhri 124 after the Hijrah, Al-Hasan al-Basri 110 after the Hijrah, Muhammad ibn Sirin 110 after the Hijrah, Umar bin Abdul Aziz 101 after the Hijrah. You're telling me 1979? Is there a comparison? This is why Dawat al-Salafiyah has no equal to it in terms of da'wah. No equal. So when we call the people, we are not calling to a hizb, except for the hizb of Allah. Except for the hizb of Allah, the party of Allah. This is the only hizb that we call to. We don't call to any firqa, except to firqatul najiyah, which is the firqa of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. Let me ask you, is there any companion who was a Barelvi? सवाल सीधा है, जवाब भी सीधा है। Abu Bakr, Umar, any of the Sahaba were Naqshbandi? हो सकता है। Any of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum were Khawarij? All of the Sahaba, they fought against the Khawarij. No one stood back. All of them fought the terrorists. Every Sahabi. Any of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum were Jamaat-e-Islami following Maududi? It can't happen. हो भी नहीं सकता। Where's the अक्ल? हमारा अक्ल कहाँ है? सोच नहीं सकते। Whatever Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and the Sahaba were upon, this is what we need to be upon. If we differ Kaifa? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ حَتَّى يُحَكِّمُوكَ فِي مَا شَجَرَ بَيْنَهُمْ ثُمَّ لَا يَجِدُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَرَجًا مِمَّا قَضَيْتَ وَيُسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا. Allah said this in the Quran. Allah said, and know by your Lord, O Muhammad. Allah is talking to Muhammad. فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ, singular. Who is the Rabbika? Who is your Lord? Who is he talking? He's talking to Muhammad. Allah is telling Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ, by your Lord. Allah is making qasam. By your Lord, O Muhammad, they will not truly believe. They cannot be believers, mu'minun, in reality, up until they make you, O Muhammad, the judge in all of the disputes between them. Any ikhtilaf. يُحَكِّمُوكَ فِيمَا شَجَرَ بَيْنَهُمْ. Up until they make you and take your hukum, O Muhammad, in all of the disputes between them. ثُمَّ لَا يَجِدُ فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَرَجًا مِمَّا قَضَيْتَ. Then after that, you will not find in their nufus, in their hearts, you will not find any difficulty in their hearts to that which you, O Muhammad, have judged with. وَيُسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا. And they will submit with a complete submission. This is the Salafi. Now, I'll give 2 or 3 examples to make you understand why the Salafi is unique in this. You speak to a person who celebrates Eid Milad Nabi, and you say to him, ye bid'at hai. Eid Milad Nabi celebration is bid'ah, bid'at. Nahi kar sakte. Kyun nahi kar sakte? Muhabbat karte hain Nabi ke? No problem, you can do muhabbat. Muhabbat is following Qul in kuntum tuhibbun Allah fattabi'uni. If you love Allah, then follow me, then Allah will love you. This is how you show muhabbat to Allah, and Allah will love you if you make ittiba of Rasul. फिर बात रही है ईद मिलाद नबी. बताएं, दलील दें. दलील क्यों चाहिए? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded you, ati'u Allah wa ati'u Rasul. Obey Allah and obey the Messenger. Likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قَدْ كَانَ لَكُمْ فِي رُسُولِ اللَّهِ أُسْوَةٌ حَسَنَةٌ. Indeed, you have in the Messenger of Allah the best example. Allah said it in the Quran. The Prophet ﷺ said, مَنْ رَغِبَ عَنْ سُنَّتِي فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي. Whoever turns away from my sunnah is not from me. There's my daleel. مَنْ أَحْدَثَ فِي أَمْرِنَا هَذَا مَا لَيْسَ مِنْهُ فَهُوَ رَدٌّ. Whomsoever introduces into Islam which is not from it, Allah will reject it. It is rejected. فَهُوَ رَدٌّ. مَنْ عَمِلَ عَمَلًا لَيْسَ عَلَيْهِ أَمْرُنَا فَهُوَ رَدٌّ. Whosoever does an action that is not from this religion of ours, it is rejected. Ye mera daleel hai. Am lahum shuraka shara'u lahum min ad-deen. Or do they have partners that they have set up that makes them a new sharia? This is my daleel that you can't do Eid Milad Nabi. Abhi aapka daleel mujhe pesh karein. हमारे शेख सभी गलत हैं, आप that's not an answer. I'm asking for a daleel, and your jawab to me is हमारे शेख करते हैं, हमारे उलमा कहते हैं, उम्मत करती है, करोड़ों के साबर लोग ये जश्न बनाते हैं ईद मिलाद नबी. So now the question is, Rasulullah didn't do it, Sahaba radiallahu anhum didn't do it, Tabi'een didn't do it, Atba'u Tabi'een didn't do it, from all the names that I mentioned. Abu Hanifa didn't do it. कहते हैं हमारा इमाम Abu Hanifa है. Alright, bring me something from Abu Hanifa that he did Eid Milad. क्योंकि Pakistan is a Hanafi madhab, majority. कहते हैं हम in fiqh we follow Abu Hanifa. Aqidah no, just fiqh. Aqidah, Allahumma musta'an. In fiqh Abu Hanifa, जैसे there is no other madhab. कोई बात नहीं. They don't follow the Aqidah of Abu Hanifa, they follow the fiqh of Abu Hanifa. कोई बात नहीं. Abu Hanifa did he do Eid Milad Nabi? नहीं. ठीक है. Pakistan there's not many Shafi'is, Malikis. नहीं. Alright? फिर भी bring something from Malik. ठीक है, अबू हनीफा का मज़हब रहने दें. आप कहते हैं हम हनफी हैं. So the Hanafis, they don't. Abu Hanifa didn't do Eid Milad Nabi. Two of the biggest students of Abu Hanifa, Muhammad bin Hassan al-Shaybani, he didn't do Eid Milad Nabi. Two great students of Abu Hanifa and Abu Yusuf, neither of them did Eid Milad Nabi. ठीक है, हनीफी का मज़हब finished, कोई बात नहीं. आप कहते हैं हम हनफी हैं, this is not Abu Hanifa मज़हब, Eid Milad. ठीक है. Malik, for one day a year आप मालिकी हो जाएं. Did Malik do Eid Milad Nabi? No. Malik ibn Anas, no Eid Milad Nabi. Second Imam. Third Imam, Imam Shafi'i. चलो देखने वो उन्होंने किया Eid Milad Nabi? No. One more Imam, Ahmad bin Hanbal. देखिए 40,000 hadith Musnad Imam Ahmad. If you look at the Musnad of Imam Ahmad, 40,000. 40,000. Yeah? 40,000 hadith in the Musnad of Ahmad. एक hadith साबित करें, चाहे ज़ाइफ, मौजू दे दें, कोई बात नहीं. कुछ तो दें. Give me something. 40,000 hadith. This is before I haven't touched Bukhari yet. Because Imam Ahmad was the Shaykh of Bukhari. In one hadith, Ahmad was the Shaykh of Bukhari. I haven't touched the Kutub al-Sitta. Just the 4 Imams. Eid Milad? नहीं. वो मेरे साथ बहस हो रहा है. So, nothing in the Quran, nothing in the hadith, nothing from the 4 Imams, nothing from the Tabi'in, nothing from the first 3 generations. नहीं करना चाहिए. क्यों? सभी करते हैं. That's the argument. ठीक है, कोई बात नहीं. Bukhari. चलो, we'll go to Bukhari. Bukhari collected 600,000 asanid. 6 lakh chains of narration Bukhari has. The Sahih al-Bukhari, he brought it down to what, 4,000, something like this? 3,000? This is Imam Bukhari. एक हदीस साबित कर दें बुखारी से. मेरे भाई नहीं है. Muslim, Abu Dawud. Then at the end of it, अच्छा, so what's your answer? Here's my answer to the one who celebrates Eid Milad Nabi. Here's my answer to the one who does demonstrations, जो march करते हैं सड़कों पर. Street demonstration करते हैं. Same answer. जैसे just the Eid, you're a Salafi. When they say to you, हम march करेंगे, उनको कहना साबित करें हदीस नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम did march. Same way that you do Eid Milad Nabi. अच्छा, Abu Hanifa, Malik didn't do it, Shafi didn't do it, Ahmad didn't do it, Prophet Abu Bakr didn't do it, Umar didn't do it. तो आप क्यों कर रहे हैं? فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ حَتَّى يُحَكِّمُوكَ فِيمَا شَجَرَ بَيْنَهُمْ. This is our answer to them. By your Lord, O Muhammad, they, who's the they? They, those Muslims, will not truly believe up until they make you the judge in all of the disputes between them. ثُمَّ لَا يَجِدُ فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَرَجًا. Then you will not find in their nafs any difficulty. Watch them when you give da'wah to a tablighi, or to a one who celebrates Eid Milad Nabi, or to the takfiri, or to the terrorist, or to the al-Qaeda, or to the Diobandi, with all of these firaq. When you say to them, bhai, wallahi I want good for you. मेरे दिल में क्या है? जैसे हमको हिदायत मिली है, we want hidayat for you. ऐसे ही कहते हैं ना. We don't want them to go into the fire. We don't want them to be gumrah. We want them upon sunnah. So if I'm speaking to my father, I'm speaking to my brother, I'm speaking to my neighbor, I'm speaking to my uncle, चाचे से बात हो रही है, खाला से बात हो रही है, दादे से बात हो रही है, भाई से बात हो रही है, मेरे दिल में क्या है? कि जैसे मुझे हिदायत मिली है, इनको हिदायत मिले. या अल्लाह इनको हिदायत दे, या अल्लाह इनको तौफीक दे. यही होता है ना. हम नहीं कहते कि हम सलफी बस फ्यू नंबर हुए। हमारी क्या ख्वाहिश है? What is something that what is it that we want? We want the whole ummah to think like us, not to fight. We don't want firqabazi. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ كنتم أعداء فألف بين قلوبكم فأصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا. Allah said that in the Quran. All of you Muslims, hold on together بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ, to the rope of Allah. What is the rope of Allah? Allah ki rassi कहते हैं. What is this rassi of Allah? Kitab, Sunnah, Sahaba. Is there anything else? मुझे बता दें. हो सकता है when the Quran was being revealed, there was no madhab. एक ही madhab था. What is that madhab? Quran and Hadith, Quran and Sunnah and Sahaba. Hablullah, Kitab, Sunnah, Sahaba. وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ. That's the first command. पहला अमर यह है that you hold on to the rope of Allah. Then Allah says وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا, and फिर इसके बाद कोई फिरकाबाजी नहीं. No toleration of any firqa. Don't split, no division, divide नहीं होया. Allah is commanding you not to differ, not to split. وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. So the first command of Allah, hold to the Kitab and the Sunnah and the Sahaba. Number 2, do not divide. वैसे यूनिटी आएगी. We are thinking ये बरेली है, ये सियासी है, ये तकफीरी है, ये खारिजी है, ये जमात इस्लामी है, ये अहले हदीस है, ये वो है, ये चौथा है, ये पांचवा है, ये वो है. Let's just unite. Unity किस पर? Against America. यही कहते हैं ना, दुश्मन हमारा एक है. ये यूनिटी होती है. Did Allah say unite against your enemy and all of you unite? Allah said وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ. This is the plot of the siyasiyon. ये इनका plot है. All of these groups of siyasa. देखें हमारा दुश्मन. कोई बात नहीं. यो शिया, यो बरेलवी, यो तबलीगी, यो अहले हदीस, यो सलफी, यो इख्वानी, यो मुर्जी, यो मतरूदी, यो अशअरी, कोई बात नहीं. All of you come together in a room. एक दिन के लिए कॉन्फ्रेंस में आते हैं. Then 364 days a year they are fighting each other. यही होता है ना? Am I wrong? मैं गलत है, मुझे बता दें. बिल्कुल यही होता है. This is what happens. They say हमारा दुश्मन है. कौन है? यूनाइटेड नेशंस, इजराइल, ये वो तीसरा चौथा एनिमी बनाते हैं. चाहे वो एनिमी हो ही भी नहीं, आपके लिए वो बनाए नहीं. Because they need you. Why do they need you? Because if you are not listening, they have nothing. जब हम सुनते हैं, उनकी जमात बनती है. If there is no one to listen, they have nothing. They want your loyalty. आपकी बैयत उनको चाहिए. They want your bay'ah. They want your membership. क्यों? Because when the elections come, every Jamaat says, हमारे 3 करोड़ मेंबर हैं या 20 करोड़ मेंबर हैं. So they go to the politicians and they say, हमको कुछ दें, हमारे मेंबर आपको वोट देंगे. यही होता है. How do I know? UK में यही होता है, अमेरिका में यही होता है. मुसलमानों के पास आते हैं, ये मुसलमान कहते हैं ये हमारे मेंबर हैं. कितने आपके मेंबर हैं? 1 लाख. एक कंस्टिट्यूएंसी में, एक टाउन में 1 लाख होंगे या 2 लाख होंगे. तो ये पार्टी आती है, लेबर पार्टी आती है या कंजर्वेटिव पार्टी आती है. तो वो कहते हैं ठीक है, आपके मुसलमान कितने मेंबर हैं? 2 लाख हैं. ठीक है, वोट हमको दे देंगे. जरूर देंगे. हमको क्या मिलेगा? हमको क्या मिलेगा? पूछते हैं, आपको हम सर बना देंगे, सर मोहम्मद असलम। वल्लाही यही होता है। या आपको हम थोड़ा बिजनेस, गवर्नमेंट बिजनेस देंगे, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग, या ये देंगे वो देंगे। आपका वीजा, हम को बेटे हैं बेटियां हैं, वीजा उनकी सहूलत देंगे, इजी हम बना देंगे आपके लिए। इसलिए ये जमातें, दिस इज व्हाई दे सक्सीड। इफ वी हैव एन एनिमी, आवर यूनिटी इज नॉट एन एनिमी। हमारी यूनिटी किस चीज पर होनी चाहिए? किताब, सुन्नह, सहाबा, अकीदा। ये हमारी अकीदत की किताबें हैं जो हमने जिक्र किया है। हमारे इमाम कौन है जिनके मैंने जिक्र किया है? आपके इमाम कौन है बताए? गौसे आजम, यही कहते हैं ना, अब्दुल कादिर जिलानी, फुलान था फुलान था फुलान, ये पॉलिटिशियन, ये सियासी, ये जमात, ये देवबंद का, ये तबलीग का, ये बरेलवी का। ये हम कहते हैं ये फिरकाबाजी पाकिस्तान को वीक करेगा, पाकिस्तान कमजोर हो जाएगा। अभी कमजोर है। ये कमजोरी कहां से आती है? Where does the weakness in Pakistan come from? Because they are not following, all of them united to the hablillah. If they follow this one ayah, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا, hold on to the book, Sunnah, Sahaba, and don't differ. Remember, Allah mentions, وَاذْكُرُوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ. Remember the bounty of Allah upon you when you used to hate each other. आपके बीच नफरत थी कि नहीं थी? It was there, नफरत. Allah mentions it in the Quran. There was enmity between you. You hated one another. Then Allah brought your hearts together. Yes, this is how the Sahaba were. Sahaba did not love each other before. They were fighting each other when they were before Islam. When they accepted Islam, they hated each other, and Allah brought their hearts together by the bounty of Allah. You became brothers. Where is this ukhuwah in Pakistan, or in Bangladesh, or in the Middle East, or in the Gulf countries, in the Khalij, or North Africa, or in Africa? Where is this brotherhood? This brotherhood will not happen. नहीं हो सकती. मैं आपको कहता हूं, लिख लें, गारंटी मेरी है. Why? Because Allah ne kaha, this unity will never come except with Kitab, Sunnah, Sahaba. You want Islam to be strong. You want the Ummah to be one, not divided. Ye mulk us mulk ke fight kar raha hai. Muslims are fighting each other. Jahan bhi dekhe, they're arguing and fighting. Kyun? Because they don't accept this, or they accept the ayah, but they don't follow the ayah. فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ حَتَّى يُحَكِّمُوكَ فِيمَا شَجَرَ بَيْنَهُمْ. This is the solution. Follow the Sahaba. السابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار والذين تبعوهم بإحسان رضي الله عنهم ورضوا عنه. Allah said in the Quran. Allah mentioned the Sahaba, the first and the foremost to believe from amongst the Muhajirin and from the Ansar Sahaba. And then those who make ittiba of them, radiyallahu an, and those who follow them correctly. Bi-ihsan means bi-itqan. Those who truly follow the Sahaba, Allah said in the Quran, Surah Tawbah, Ayah 100. Go and read it in Urdu or in English or whichever Farsi language that you want. If you understand Arabic, read it in Arabic. The first and foremost to believe from the Muhajirin and from the Ansar and those who follow them precisely, truly and correctly, bi-ihsan. Allah is pleased with them and they are pleased with Allah. Allah said this in the Quran. So how many people how many groups is Allah pleased with? 3. There's the ayah. You want to argue? Argue with the ayah. Allah is pleased with the Muhajirin. Allah is pleased with the Ansar. No Muhajir is sitting here today from the Sahaba. No Ansari is sitting here from the Sahaba. That only leaves the third group that Allah loves and Allah is pleased with. Those who follow them correctly. Allah is pleased with them. they are pleased with Allah. We can't be in the first group. That's Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman and Ali and Fatima and Aisha. They are the Muhajirin. We can't be in the second group. They are the Ansar from Medina. We can only be in the third group. Outside of these, Allah is not happy with them. Allah is only pleased with the Sahaba and those who follow the Sahaba. Here's the dalil in the Quran. You bring yours. This is ours. Ulama, I mentioned the ulama that we love. Those ulama, why do we love them? Why do we follow them? Because they're upon the Kitab and the Sunnah. Because Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, and I'll finish upon this, 9 o'clock inshallah, I'll finish on this. The hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar. He said, someone asked the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, which of mankind are the best? Which of mankind are the best? He said, Ana. I am the best. Is he lying? Is he showing off? He said, I am the best of the children of Adam, wala fakhr. And this is not boasting. Meaning when Rasulullah is saying that I am the best, it's because Allah made him the best. Not because he is trying to put himself up. That's Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And that's why he said, Ana sayyidu waladi bani Adam yawm al-qiyamah. I am the best, I am the master of all of the children of Adam on Yawm al-Qiyamah. He is the best. So when they asked him, Ya Rasulullah, who is the best? He said, Ana. وَالَّذِينَ مَعِي. And those who are with me. Who's with him? Sahaba, Abu Bakr, Umar, Abu Hurairah, Ibn Abbas, Ali, Uthman, Aisha, Fatima, Salama, Habiba, Sa'id al-Khudri, Ka'b ibn Malik. All of these are the best of the people. He said, me and those with me. Anyone alive today better than them? Anyone going to be brave and say there is someone better than them? No one today, no one after the time of the Sahaba is better than them. So why would you take someone today, his opinion, more than the understanding of the Sahaba? It shows qillatul fahm, qillatul aql. It shows that you are, in your brain there is some naqs. And in your understanding there is some naqs. Because no one is better. Then he said, ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ عَلَى الْأَثَرِ. Then those who follow their athar, meaning follow their path. ثُمَّ الَّذِينَ عَلَى الْأَثَرِ ثُمَّ كَأَنَّهُ رَفَضَ مَنْ بَقِيَهُ. The Sahabi said, after that, it is as if the Messenger of Allah, he rejected all of those who came after him. He wasn't interested. These are the best, first 3 generations. So my deen, this is Salafiyah. Who are they? They are our Salaf. They are the people of Hadith, Ashabul Hadith, Ahlul Hadith, not Jama'ah. Not in modern day Jama'ah in India or Pakistan or Bangladesh that says we're Jamiyat Ahl Hadith. We're not interested in this. Just like they say we are Jama'at Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'at and they go to the graves. We're not interested in this. We are just interested, Sahaba, Tabi'in, Atba'u Tabi'in, the great Imams, up until today. Today if someone comes to you and he says we are follow them, we say, who are your scholars today? Why? Because in every age, Allah raises a group of ulama. In every age, لا تزال طائفة من أمتي على الحق ظاهرين لا يضرهم من خذلهم ولا من خالفهم حتى يأتي أمر الله. The Prophet ﷺ said that there will never cease to be a group in every generation, never cease to be a group that is upon the haqq, ala al-haqq mansureen. Meaning in every generation, there will always be some people who are upon the haqq. Zahireen, meaning that they are known, you can see them. Why? Because they speak like us. Do I hide anything? There is nothing there that I'm hiding from you. Ye chupa ke rakhunga, baad mein aayega. When he comes to me, iske paise mere paas aayenge. This is not the Salafi. This is the hizbi. This is the likes of those jam'iyat that come out of those countries and they want your money, and they want your vote, and they want you to come to the election, and they want you to go to the street and make marching in the street. We are not interested in this. We only want from you to be, like the Prophet ﷺ said, there will never cease to be a group from my ummah, al-haq mansureen, in a narration. Upon the truth they are victorious. They are made victorious by Allah. لا يضرهم من خذلهم. They are not harmed by those who betray them. Those who, how do they betray in Urdu? उनको छोड़ देते हैं, उनको दगा देते हैं. I've never heard that word in my life, but that's the word, because he's the Sahib Urdu. Alright? They don't care if you abandon them, leave them. I'll give you an example what the Prophet ﷺ is saying. Today, this man is with you on the haqq. Tomorrow he's with you upon the haqq. You say, MashaAllah, ye mera saath hai. Haqq, kitab, sunnah, sahaba. Then a fitna comes, some bid'ah comes. You say, mera saathi, baag gaya. That's the meaning of the hadith. Hadith ka ye maana hai. He will lead you. But Ahlul Haq, they don't care. चाहे मेरे साथ है, चाहे गुमराह है, चाहे मेरा बेटा है, मेरा बाप है. I will not leave the deen of Allah, neither for my father, neither for my brother, neither for my mother. This is Mus'ab bin Umair radiallahu anhu in Mecca. She said to him, either you are with Muhammad or you are with me. He said, I'm with Muhammad. This is Mus'ab bin Umair. So he walked to the door. He said, कहाँ जा रहे हैं? कपड़े उतारे, मेरे कपड़े हैं. He took off his clothes. He just had izar, lungi कहते हैं. That's all. He was from the richest of the families of Mecca. He came to the house of Rasulullah in Mecca. When Rasulullah opened the door, he knew what happened. And tears were coming from the eyes of Rasulullah. This is Ahlul Haq. Kahan hai ye log today? Where are these people today, like Mus'ab bin Umair? He was a young boy. He wasn't an old man, he was a young man. This is Mus'ab bin Umair. La yadurruhum man khadalahum. In a narration, la yubalun. That's even stronger word. When you say someone, they are not harmed by the ones who abandon them. Here the Prophet ﷺ said, La yubalun. They don't even care. I don't care. I'm going to leave Rasulullah and the haqq because of you. La yubalun, la ubali. I don't care. That's what the Prophet ﷺ said. Where's the hadith? Sahih Muslim. Hadith is in Sahih Muslim. وَلَا مَنْ خَالَفَهُمْ. And they don't care and they are not harmed by those who differ with them. حَتَّى يَأْتِيَ أَمْرَ اللَّهِ. Up until the command of Allah comes. Up until Yawm al-Qiyamah they are like this. وَهُمْ ظَاهِرِينَ or وَهُمْ عَلَى النَّاسِ ظَاهِرِينَ or وَهُمْ ظَاهِرِينَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. And even when the Amr of Allah comes at the end of time, they will still be in front of the people. They will be poor. देखें मस्जिद. This is our mosques. ये हमारी मसाजिद है. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to make sajda upon the dirt in Masjid an-Nabawiyyah. The roof had no roof. The roof was made out of date palm leaves. I don't even have to say that in Urdu. Date palm leaves. That was the roof. When it used to rain, the Prophet ﷺ, he used to make sajda, come out, his face is covered in mud. पैसे की बात नहीं है. What is written for you, it will come to you before you die, don't worry. Your risk will come to you. We are not here for the money of the people. This masjid I'm happy with. Wallahi. 20 masajid like this size, is more beloved to me than 1,000 masajid that have got chandeliers and marble and 20 ACs. Yeah, AC or ACN. Normally, even some of our masajid, there's no AC. We don't care. What do we want? We want the haqq. This is da'wah to Salafiyah. This is why da'wah to Salafiyah is hard for people. They're saying, wo chhodkar yahan aaye. Hot. Pasina chhut raha hai. Ye lecture day samajh bhi nahi aa rahi. Half English, half Urdu. We don't care. What we care about is haqq. Barakallahu feekum wa jazakumullahu khairan. Tarjuma karenge Ustad Tariq bin Ali Brohi. Good question by our brother Hafidhullah, that after this weekend conference, what advice is there with regard to the duroos and the classes and so on? My advice to the brothers here is that, alhamdulillah, in Pakistan, you have Salafis. The Salafis are gathered in three main places. Three main places. There are Salafis in other locations also, but in three main places. Islamabad, firstly. Why do I say Islamabad first? Because in Islamabad there is a structure and there are students of knowledge that are known and trusted by the Mashaykh. Like our brother Zubair Abbasi, like our brother Ustad Tariq bin Ali, and like our brother Abu Arwa. And there is a markaz, and they have a strong connection with Ahlul Ilm, overseas and here. Secondly, that a lot of the visits that are made by people overseas have come to Islamabad, and Islamabad now is building a large masjid in D18 or AWT in Islamabad. And a lot of people are beginning to gather there, especially from the expats who are traveling now. They are moving to Islamabad. For me, number one is Islamabad. Just like I would say in Birmingham, in the United Kingdom, Birmingham is the first, because that is where people initially gather. Then after that, you have our brothers here in Lahore. You have the Islamic Dawah Center that we gave the question answer session yesterday, and we have this Masjid Sunnah an-Nabawiyyah. And you have a good body and a community that is small but is beginning to build itself. My nasiha to anywhere, if we really want the da'wah to proceed, you need students of knowledge. Da'wah cannot continue and proceed and become strong without having tullab al-ilm that are teaching regularly. Alhamdulillah, our brother Tariq bin Ali and Zubair Abbasi and Abu Arwa are teaching regularly in Islamabad. Our brother Numan Sharif, Habibullah Ta'ala, from our brothers from East London originally. So he came back to Pakistan and he helped with the dawah in Islamabad, and he still is in Islamabad, but he built a purpose-built Salafi Masjid, Masjid Dar Tawheed in Dadiyar. And we know him and we trust him. And regularly our brother Tariq bin Ali and Zubair Abbasi go to Dadiyar. And as we know, our brother Tariq also comes to Lahore, likewise. And Zubair will come also, just like we come today. This is just the beginning. These, and especially these three places, and then you have, our brothers, handful of brothers in Karachi and in other places in Pakistan. There needs to be a strong connection between all of them. And regularly, I would say, attend the duroos in Islamabad. It is easier to fill a coaster from Lahore or a minibus and drive to the dars in Islamabad, especially after the masjid is built. So imagine you come on Thursday night to Islamabad, just like the brothers do in Birmingham. Ali would know that, Brother Mahmoud would know that, and some of the others would know that. In Birmingham, we have over 21 duroos in 1 week. And we teach a lot of the books. Now we've reduced the number whilst the second masjid is being renovated, and now we have maybe something like 8 durus a week. Every night. And we have durus for the sisters on Saturday and Sunday. So what brothers will do is they'll drive from London or from Manchester or from other cities, and they'll come on Thursday. They will catch the dars on Thursday night, catch the Jummah khutbah, stay on Friday dars in the evening, and then they will leave. That's 3 benefits that they've caught in just 2 days, and they go back. And they go back infused with some, I don't know, Josh, what word do you want to use? Some hirs, some desire to spread the dawah in their families. So my advice is attend the durus. If there's durus in Lahore regular, attend every dars for the men. For the women, at least 1 a week or 2 a week. Attend them, bring your wives. Because one issue in Pakistan is that the women are detached from the da'wah quite often. Why? Because they're left at home. So the man is becoming stronger and stronger in Salafiyah. He's coming home, she doesn't understand. He's okay, okay. You know, I didn't know, what's he talking about? Knowledge. Because he's not taking her to the durus. So I say in Islamabad, for example, I constantly say to the brothers, bring your wives. There's a separate area, like in this masjid, a separate area upstairs. Bring your wife to the dars. Without knowledge, dawah will not be built. Secondly, in a place like Islamabad, even in Lahore, we need to work to build a madrasa for the children. Madrasa Islamiyah, for the tarbiyah Islamiyah of the children. So there needs to be a learning center where the children, you can send them, where they're going to learn the aqidah, which is sahihah, ilm, which is sahih, tarbiyah, which is correct in accordance with the kitab and the sunnah. Because when you send your children to normal schools, they're going to come back misunderstanding the true knowledge of Islam. So where there is an ability, like in Islamabad, that is the next stage. Islamabad has a bookstore. It has students of knowledge, and it has a markaz upstairs. There is a Quran class for sisters, and there is Quran classes for or normal classes for everybody. Then there is a class summer school for the children that our brother Abu Arwa teaches the children. Then there's a masjid being built. What's the next logical step in Islamabad? A school. Primary school to begin with, and then a secondary school. Now you have covered everything. This is what we have this in Birmingham, by the way. I know it's a bit ajib, that in Darul Kufr, we have all of this in one city. In West London you have this. In Manchester to a degree you have this. In Bradford. In 5 or 6 cities in Britain you have this. In America, in Philadelphia you have this. In other parts of America, like in the DC area, Washington, there are places like this. In Toronto they are beginning to build this. In Pakistan we don't have it. Why? Because for whatever reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, maybe, that there wasn't the impetus, or there wasn't the finances, or whatever, but now it's beginning to start. So we can't focus upon 20 different cities in one go. If you have a few thousand or a few hundred Salafis, you can't now build a Salafi masjid in every city in Pakistan. It's not feasible. We never did that in the United Kingdom, and there's less people in the United Kingdom as far as the Muslim community is concerned. So we need to focus on 1 or 2 areas. For me, it's Islamabad. For you living in Lahore, it's Lahore. No problem. But we need to build, which means sacrifice. Which means also do what Tariq did. Tariq bin Ali, Hafidullah, moved from Karachi to Islamabad to help the dawah. Abu Arwa moved from Britain to Islamabad. I moved from the United Kingdom, even though I'm not fully moved, but 50% moved to Islamabad, because I know that I need to focus. Mahmoud moved from Manchester in the United Kingdom to Islamabad. Numan Sharif moved from East London to Islamabad. To focus the dawah in one place, if each of us move to our village, to our gram, whatever you call it, right, to our village, then will be one person in each village. You won't have any effect. But if you move them into one area, and whoever comes afterwards comes to that area, when it becomes strong in one area, like Medina in the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, make Medina strong. In the time of Ahmed, make Baghdad strong. In the time of the likes of Muhammad Aman Jami, make Medina strong. In the time of Ahmed al-Najmi, make Samita strong. In the time of Bilbaz, make Riyadh strong. Make strong what you have the ability over. In Pakistan, we can only focus upon 1 or 2 or 3 areas. So we are now focusing upon Islamabad and maybe Lahore and something in the Riyadh. But we need to visit the students of knowledge. If there are no students of knowledge in Lahore, I know where there are students of knowledge. Phone up Zubair, phone up Tariq, have you got a dars tomorrow? Yaqeen se dars hoga inshaAllah. Mera dars kab? Khamis, Yom al-Khamis, Thursday. ठीक है, हम आ रहे हैं. Friday किसका दर्स होगा? जुबैर भाई का दर्स होगा या किसी और का दर्स होगा, अबू अरवा का दर्स होगा. चलो हम आ रहे हैं. कितने आ रहे हैं? We're going to bring 1 car. कोई बात नहीं, 1 car, 5 people, no problem. This is how you build da'wah. You know, to Birmingham, I would say over 1,000 Salafis moved from France to Birmingham. You have to cross the sea. Right? You leave your country, France, cross the English Channel, come into England. They don't even speak English, it's French. And they move to Birmingham. For what? For da'wah. They bring their children, bring their wives. हम लाहौर से इस्लामाबाद नहीं जा सकते, क्यों? घर में गया, AC नहीं चल रही, क्या करेंगे? These people are moving. Husband, wife, 5 children to Birmingham. For what? For da'wah. For da'wah. And they've been there for 10, 12, 13 years. Ask me, I know. In our masjid in Birmingham, there are people who speak French, Dutch, German. People who have come from Norway, Finland, other parts of the United States, from Scotland, from London, to move to Birmingham. Why? Because in Birmingham they are Tulab al-Ilm. And there is a dars every night, and there is a Salafi school for children, and a secondary school for children. Tahfidh al-Quran every evening for the children. Classes for the women on Saturday and Sunday, just for the women. So they're benefiting. This is why the community in Birmingham is 5,000, 6,000. Why? Because in the beginning it was small, but we continued and made it strong. We can do that in Islamabad, we can do that in Lahore, we can do that in Dabiar, and we can do it in other places. But you have to give. You have to sacrifice something. Even if you have to catch a bus. Wallahi, there's a family that drive from London to Birmingham every Thursday for my dars. I say, there's a dars in Islam. He said, no, this is a decision that we make, and we come every Thursday to Birmingham for the dars. Husband, wife and children. And they say we enjoy it. Sometimes they stay overnight, and sometimes they go back the same night. From London to Birmingham, that is, for them it's about 2-hour drive. This is because of their love of ilm. People in Lahore should travel to sit in the durus in Islamabad. He will come anyway. Tariq and Zubair will come. Likewise, you come to them. Ajain aap. Bring your wife, bring your children, and sit in the durus. Barakallahu feekum. One question and then we'll finish, inshallah, and make salah, inshallah. There is a group who calls themselves LADs, who claim that there is too much harshness and tashaddud against Ahlul Bid'ah in the book of Imam al-Barbahari, Sharh as-Sunnah. Not just Sharh as-Sunnah. They will say it about other books, Imam Ahmad, Ibn Battah, Ibanat al-Sughra. These books tough against Ahlul Bid'ah. Aqidat al-Salaf, Ashab al-Hadith wa al-Sabuni, strong against Ahlul Bid'ah. Sharh al-I'tiqad Ahlul Sunnah of Al-Lalakai, strong against Ahlul Bid'ah. These are books that are strong. Asl al-Sunnah. Read the end of Asl al-Sunnah of Abu Hatim al-Razi and Abu Zur al-Razi. Raziyain, Aqidat al-Raziyain. Very strong against Ahlul Bid'ah. So these people, and this is not something in the question. I know this. Because this group is in the United Kingdom. In the United Kingdom, they are mutafarriqeen. They are divided. They are not united. They use the name, but all of them, they are fighting each other. Why? Because it's a hizb. So they don't like the books of Aqidah of the Salaf. Al-Ibanat al-Sughra, Ibn Battah, they don't like it. They won't teach it. They won't teach Sunnah Barbahari, Usul Sunnah of Ahmad ibn Hanbal. And even if they teach it, they come to these points, they leave it. They say, ये जो बातें उस ज़माने के लिए हैं, आज के लिए नहीं है. क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं फिर? Why are you reading a book which is not for this time? इस ज़माने के नहीं लिए हैं तो पढ़ क्यों रहे हैं आप? स्टोरी पढ़ा रहे हैं लोगों को. So Sharh Sunnah Barbahari is for every time. Kitab al-Sunnah of Ahmad ibn Hanbal for every time. as-Sunnah wal-Muzani for every time. Sharh Sunnah Muzani for every time. These are the books that Bin Baz, Al-Albani, Ibn Taymiyyah, Shaykh Rabi' bin Hadi al-Madkhali, Muqbil bin Hadi, they used to recommend these books. Wasitiyah of Ibn Taymiyyah. I don't know of anywhere in Pakistan they teach. Anywhere? बस तारीफ करते हैं, तहरीफ करते हैं, डिस्टोर्ट करते हैं. किताब al-Tawheed of Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab, الصلاۃ of Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab, Qawaid al-Arba, Masail al-Jahiliyyah, Kashf al-Shubahat, Usul al-Sitta. ये किताबें कहाँ पर आ रहे हैं? In Pakistan. Who's teaching these books? You know who's teaching these books? We are teaching these books. In Markaz al-Darimi in Islamabad. These people don't like these books because what do they say? In kitabon mein tashaddud hai. Is that Urdu word as well? Tashaddud kehte hain. There's too much shiddat in these books. Too harsh. Because they say that Barbahari was tough. The Salaf were tough against Ahlul Bid'ah. Ibn Abbas was tough against Ahlul Bid'ah. Anas ibn Malik was tough against Ahlul Bid'ah. The Salaf, the Sahaba, Ali radiallahu fought Ahlul Bid'ah. Ahmad ibn Hanbal fought Ahlul Bid'ah. Kya keh rahe hain? You can't teach these books. Of course you don't want to teach these books because you want to get into siyasa. This is the problem. Anyway, there's no need to cover too much on this. I've given you the advice, inshallah. Meri nasiyat sunne aap. Wallahi, it is good for you. आपके लिए खैर है. जो हमने किया हमने कर दिया. जो मुझ पर जो फर्ज था मैंने वो कंप्लीट कर दिया आपके लिए इंशाअल्लाह. जो मुझ पर वाजिब था मैंने आपको नसीहत दे दी. Now it is upon you. बच्चे बैठ रहे हैं. Raise them upon Salafiyah. Build their knowledge upon Salafiyah. जो youngster हैं, teach them Usul al-Thalatha. Read to them Barbahari. Wallahi, at this age, Ibn Qudama and some of the early Salaf, they used to teach the children about Ahlul Bid'ah and to teach them about the Sunnah. Inse puche, Ain Allah. Teach them, where is Allah? Allah kahan hai? Fis sama. Teach this to your children. Teach your children the Asma wa Sifat of Allah. Teach them love of the Sahaba. Teach them the names of the Zawjat of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. What are the names of the wives? Kyunki wo, they are our ummahat. Our children, they should know. Khadeejah, Aisha, Sauda, Salama, Habiba, Zainab, Maymuna. They should know the names of the wives of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They should know the 10 who were promised Jannah, the Ashara, the Khulafa al-Rashideen. They should know the Aqidah. What is the Sirat over the hellfire? What is the Aqidah of Ahlul Sunnah? Where do you find this? Just teach them the Aqidah of the Raziyain. All of this is in just in 2 pages of the Raziyain. Asr al-Sunnah. And your children will have the Aqidah of Salafiyah Mujmala. Just if you teach them in Urdu the Aqidah of the Raziyain, love of the Sahaba, bridge over the hellfire, Munkar and Nakir, 3 questions in the grave. Every Salafi child should know these and learn this and understand this. So Salafiyya does not die when you die. Barakallahu feekum. We'll pray now, inshallah. I thank all of you for attending the conference, and we are honored. Maybe Tariq can translate that more eloquently. We are honored, truly. Okay, you sat, you had sabr, you listened, you didn't get bored. Some of you don't understand English, लेकिन फिर भी आप सब्र से बैठे हुए हैं. जज़ाकुमुल्लाहु खैर व जज़ाकुमुल्लाहु खैर. बारकल्लाहु फीकुम. वल्हम्दुलिल्लाहि रब्बिल आलमीन व सल्लल्लाहु अला नबीना मुहम्मद व अला आलिहि व सहबिहि अजमईन.